Look, I was younger. We were all younger. It was another time. You have to understand, it was 2013.
Don't you see that when you call your organization the Washington Redskins, it's offensive to us?
Don't sue us.
Have you ever noticed how the South Park keep predicting the future? Well, today, I'm showing you the moments that actually came true. On number 10, we have Trump's tweets.
President tweeted now!
South Park saw it coming before we did. Remember when they turned Mr. Garrison into a Trump parody and gave him a Twitter addiction? Yeah, that wasn't exactly subtle. In one episode, he's firing off outrageous tweets, including one where he literally dares Kim Jong-un to nuke South Park as payback against poor Tweak. Classic South Park, over-the-top, absurd, and meant to parody Trump's already infamous online behavior. But here's the kicker. Just days after that episode aired, real-life Trump hopped on Twitter and threatened North Korea directly, saying they wouldn't be around much longer. Sound familiar? That's basically Garrison's unhinged tweet, except now it was the actual President of the United States posting it to millions of followers. It's one of those eerie moments where South Park's satire instantly collided with reality. What started as a cartoon gag turned into a very real international headline. And honestly, if Kim Jong-un had actually tweeted back at Cartman instead of Trump, none of us would have been surprised. On number 9, we have legalized marijuana.
Isn't this great, Stan? Living off the land?
No, it sucks. I hate this. I want to go back home.
South Park has always loved poking fun at social issues, and Randy Marsh is usually the guinea pig. In one early episode, Randy goes to absurd lengths just to score some weed. He's literally standing there like, Stan, tell Mom it's okay. I'm just gonna get a little bit of cancer. Classic Randy logic. Destroy your health just to legally qualify for medicinal marijuana. At the time, this was satire aimed at how restricted weed laws were in the US. Only a handful of states allowed medical marijuana, and even then, the process was filled with loopholes and excuses. But then, reality caught up. Fast forward a few years, and marijuana legalization swept across the country. Recreational dispensaries popped up everywhere, turning what was once a taboo into a full-blown industry. And, in true South Park fashion, Randy himself eventually became a proud dispensary owner with Tegrity Farms, turning his love of weed into a full-on empire. What started as a joke about gaming, the system ended up looking like a documentary of America's future. Leave it to Randy to predict a nationwide business model while still embarrassing Stan in the process.
We know that good houses are getting hard to come by in South Park, and that's why we are so excited to bring you this exceptional new property.
On number 8, we have a hot dog for sale. Sometimes, South Park's predictions are huge politics, world events, global scandals. And then, sometimes it's just about a hot dog stand. Back in February 2022, the show aired an episode featuring a Coney Island hot dog restaurant going up for sale. Realtors are pitching it like it's a dream home, and Cartman and his mom actually end up living there. Only in South Park would prime real estate mean a converted hot dog shop. Now here's the wild part. Just over a month later, in real life, a genuine Coney Island hot dog restaurant in Colorado went up for sale. Same state, same timing. Total coincidence? Probably. But the fact that reality lined up that perfectly with a throwaway South Park gag makes it feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone were running a side hustle as fortune tellers. Cartman might have been thrilled to say, "I think it's cool we live in a hot dog." But for the rest of us, it was one of those, what are the odds? Moments where a cartoon joke stepped right off the screen into reality. On number 7, we have the power of the vote.
Dude, so my vote didn't even really matter.
Hey, that's not true, Stan.
You can't judge the merits of voting on whether or not your candidate won.
Your vote still mattered.
Leave it to South Park to turn democracy into a showdown between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. In the 2004 episode, Stan refuses to vote in the school election because he thinks his choice won't matter. At the time, it was a crude parody of the 2004 US presidential race. But looking back after 2016 and beyond, the message hits harder. Even if you hate the options, your vote still counts. What was once just a joke about apathy now feels like a warning. South Park nailed the frustration of modern politics long before it became a daily headline. On number 6, we have Abolishing Columbus Day.
Decided that school will not celebrate Columbus Day this year. I realize this is a hot-button issue for many families, but one parent in particular has really swayed my opinion with his passion, Mr. Randy Marsh.
In South Park, the kids are ready for a day off until they learn Columbus Day has been canceled, thanks to Randy's over-the-top protest. He even tries to tear down a Columbus statue, insisting, "It was another time. Everyone was stoked on Columbus back then." Classic Randy. The episode dropped right as real debates were heating up about Columbus's legacy, and it turned out to be spot on.
So places like Seattle, for instance, are not celebrating Columbus Day, but Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay? And this is actually pissing off some members of the Italian community.
In the years that followed, protests spread across the country, statues were toppled, and Columbus Day was rebranded as Indigenous Peoples Day in many places. What started as another Marsh family meltdown ended up predicting how America would rethink its own history. On number 5, we have AI in Hollywood.
Okay, how about this? Adam Sandler is like in love with some girl, but then it turns out that the girl is actually a golden retriever or something.
Oh, perfect! We'll call it puppy love.
In 2004, South Park gave us Cartman disguised as a robot. AWESONM. Oh, cranking out endless dumb movie pitches for Hollywood. Stuff like, Adam Sandler falls in love with a coconut. Ridiculous? Yes. But the producers eat it up anyway.
Fully behind them.
Is AI something that you are like?
What is AI? Yeah, see, I'm old. No, I saw the Will Smith movie. I don't want that to happen to me. No, I do not want robots. I feel like now we need to kill.
Fast forward to 2023, and suddenly that joke doesn't feel so far-fetched. AI became one of the biggest battles in the writers and actors strikes, with studios looking to replace human creativity with algorithms. Cartman wasn't real AI, but South Park nailed the idea that Hollywood execs would chase tech shortcuts instead of trusting real artists. Turns out, puppy love and coconut romance might not be so different from what an AI script generator spits out today. On number 4, we have sports teams changing names.
What about the baseball team, the Cleveland Indians, huh? Should they change their name because it's racist?
Yeah.
No, because it's their history.
Look, I have gone through every quiet protest I could. I've written everyone, I've put up signs.
Way back in 2000, South Park slipped in a throwaway line where Jimbo asks Chef if the Cleveland Indians should change their name for being racist. Jimbo shoots back with, "No, because it's their history." At the time, it was just a quick joke, but 2 decades later, the team actually dropped the Indians name and rebranded as the Cleveland Guardians. And that wasn't the only time South Park touched this nerve.
Patent Office called the Washington Redskins name disparaging to Native Americans and as such has pulled the team's federal trademark.
In 2014, the boys hijacked the trademark for the Washington Redskins, while the furious owner tries to explain that the name is a proud tradition. 6 years later, after years of mounting pressure, the team finally gave up the name. So while this one wasn't a direct prediction, South Park was way ahead in spotlighting how sports mascots tied to Native American stereotypes wouldn't survive forever. Turns out, Jimbo's throwaway line wasn't so throwaway after all. On number 3, we have misconduct.
The school board has sent over a special guest to teach us all about sexual harassment in schools. Please welcome Petey, the sexual harassment panda.
Who lives in the east neath the willow tree? Sexual harassment panda who explains sexual harassment to you and me.
Back in 1999, South Park introduced us to Sexual Harassment Panda, a mascot who teaches the kids about inappropriate behavior. Naturally, the students take it way too far and start accusing everyone of harassment, triggering a flood of lawsuits. At the time, it was just a ridiculous satire about oversensitivity, but looking back, it feels strangely ahead of its time. This was years before the phrase "Me Too" even existed, and almost 2 decades before the movement exploded in Hollywood. Of course, real-world harassment cases aren't cartoon exaggerations, false allegations are rare, and the movement revealed just how widespread misconduct actually is. Still, the episode eerily mirrors the way sexual harassment would become one of the defining issues of modern news cycles. On number 2, we have drone on drone warfare.
Are you happy now? What? Is this? You think this is cool?
In 2014, South Park dropped an episode where everyone in town suddenly gets their own drone. Things spiral fast. Police drones swarm the skies, the National Guard shows up, and what started as peaceful drone vigils turns into chaos. The story was meant as an allegory for racial unrest after the Michael Brown shooting, but it accidentally predicted a very different future. Fast forward a few years, and South Korea announced it would deploy security drones to intercept civilian-operated drones flying over the 2018 Winter Olympics. By 2021, they even invested $37 million in drone cops to take down unauthorized flyers around airports. South Park exaggerated the drone craze for laughs, but reality took it seriously and actually built the drone-on-drone warfare system the show joked about. On number 1, we have costume hypocrisy.
We almost got it, guys! Come on, throw the ropes, Dad! Good, that's good! Okay, hit the gas, Nelson! We got it, everybody! To hell with you, Columbus! You whoa!
In 2017, South Park aired an episode where Randy suddenly rebrands himself as an anti-Columbus activist demanding statues come down and the holiday be canceled. But Stan uncovers the receipts. Randy's been photographed over and over at parties dressed as Columbus. Halloween, football games, even St. Patrick's Day. Every time, Randy's excuse? Look, I was younger, we were all younger. It was a hilarious take on hypocrisy. And then reality delivered the perfect parallel. Just days after the episode aired, a librarian rejected a donation of Dr. Seuss books from Melania Trump, calling them racist, only for old photos to surface of that same librarian dressed as and promoting the Cat in the Hat. South Park nailed the absurdity of people rewriting their own history. Sometimes the skeletons in your closet are just embarrassing costumes you thought no one would remember.